right, back to the issue of Obama here. What he's doing with women and birth control is making the assumption that we're an easy-to-buy voting bloc. We don't pay attention to the economy. We don't pay attention to jobs because presumably women don't work. Pat us on the heads and tell us good little girls to go off and Big Daddy government's going to take care of us, right? Some people were calling it Big Brother government. Big Brother would kick this guy's butt to protect his little sister. Big Daddy government just wants to pat us on the head, buy us a pony, and think that we'll just shut up and be good little girls. That's what he's doing to women with this nonsensical birth control debate, assuming that that's all we care about. Oh, okay, President Obama. Oh, thank heavens for you. I don't know how I've managed to deal with this whole problem my whole adult life. Well, thank heavens for Barack Obama. Oh, a pox on you, you conservative men, waging a war on us, we poor wee women. Oh, Big Daddy, can you please save us from these evil Republican men? Please. They did the same thing with senior citizens. They did the same thing with senior citizens, scaring the crap out of senior citizens on their prescription drug prices when George W. Bush was president. They did the same thing with senior citizens in trying to push Obamacare. But you know what? Senior citizens aren't stupid either. Senior citizens didn't support Obamacare. Senior citizens didn't want to be bought off. Barack Obama was trying to buy off little grandma, little grandpa, auntie and uncle, whoever. We're going to give you $250 checks, and that's going to make it. You go buy yourself a nice pair of earrings, says Michelle, remember? Go buy yourself a nice pair of earrings. Oh, my gosh. The assumption that we're just too dumb to recognize what's going on in the reality of the world around us is offensive. That's Democrats. That's the new progressive left Democrat. They think they can buy you off. That's what this birth control debate is all about and why they're going to keep pushing it and why we got to push back against it. Women aren't dumb enough to fall for it, but that is exactly what's going on. This president and these Democrats assume you are too stupid and too weak to fend for yourselves. Wow, what a legacy feminism has brought us. Girl power. Big Daddy, please pay for my birth control. It's adult women know what things cost. You know why? Because we work. And we actually buy things. If Barack Obama actually wanted to try to make some inroads with a woman voting bloc, maybe he would have promised to cover the cost of diapers, or promised to cover the cost of formula. That's expensive stuff. I don't think that would work because women believe moms should take care of their own children and don't want the government raising children, in the business of raising children, despite the government's great desire to raise children. Moms typically would reject that, but at least that's some significant cost. You're talking $9 a month for birth control, or in many cases free at Planned Parenthood. By the way, did you know Planned Parenthood requires a birth certificate and photo identification to get birth control? I'm serious. Why does Planned Parenthood hate black women? I just want to know. Why does Planned Parenthood hate black women? That they would disenfranchise black women from access to cheap birth control.
You must understand, none of this just happened. None of this evolved naturally. This is a Democrat plot waiting to be hatched to create a new welfare program and at the same time try to cast Republicans in an election year as anti-female. Fluke is a typical liberal. Now, this ginned up birth control crisis just shows there's literally nothing the Democrats will not use to try for political gain and to advance their agenda. They're the ones who have no respect for women or for human life or for anything. This woman is being used. You realize at the end of the day what's happening here, the Democrats are putting on parade a woman who is happily presenting herself as an immoral, baseless, no purpose to her life woman. She wants all the sex in the world, whenever she wants it, all the time, no consequences, no responsibility for her behavior. That is what the Democrats consider a great example of citizenship. An oppressed victim of something, which is a typical liberal.
This is, again, taking your eye off the ball. So what is the story, and what did Barack Obama know the story was going to be about Obamacare? What did he know was coming out? You know, as we're talking about this birth control nonsense, insulting nonsense. What did the president know was about to come out? Well, it came out today. The Congressional Budget Office was required to do another analysis of the cost of Obamacare. And that, ladies and gentlemen, came out today. And what did the Congressional Budget Office announce about the cost of Obamacare? Remember what Barack Obama said? He gave that speech in front of the presidential podium. He's got his own presidential seal, you know. He gave that great speech. It went on interminably. He said, this is going to cost less than $900 billion. The magic number was $1 trillion, remember? Oops. The Congressional Budget Office just announced that the cost of Obamacare is estimated to be more than double what the president said it was going to cost, proving all of the critics 100% correct. That minimally the cost of this program would be double in the first 10 years. And it has happened. What was another piece of information that came out that the president knew was going to come out, which is why we're talking, instead of talking about the problems with Obamacare, talking about birth control and those rotten Republicans and their war on women. That it's estimated that a minimum of 3 million employees previously covered under employer health care would be jettisoned from their employer health care roles and forced into the Obamacare system. Why does that matter? Because the president said, hey, if you like your plan, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. I guess not. The reason we said you couldn't was because the costs were going to be so explosive. And now the Congressional Budget Office is a very, very conservative estimate. In fact, the critics of Obamacare don't agree with this estimate. They think it's much higher than that. The Congressional Budget Office admits 3 million people will lose their health care insurance because of the costs associated to employers with Obamacare. The cost of Obamacare itself is more than double what the Democrats promised it would be. All these promises about Obamacare falling through. And in fact, what about that promise that Obamacare was not going to be used to force churches to cover things like abortifacient, drug sterilization, and birth control? Oops, again. And that's why we're talking about Rush Limbaugh and why we're talking about birth control. So that people say to themselves, yeah, those rotten Republicans, instead of saying, wait a minute, President Obama, you lied to us. Here's the problem with President Obama's calculation. Everybody knows he lied. And nobody's falling for the insulting, adolescent level politics that are being played on us right now. Which is why, right now, 41% of people say they support the guy. 59% of people say next. The idea of identity politics, which is what the Democrats are famous for, identity politics, damn near wrecked the Republican Party when Karl Rove decided he was going to try to beat the Democrats at their own game of identity politics. He called it triangulation. Triangulation of voting blocks. If you can triangulate voting blocks, the Republicans never called it identity politics, but it was identity politics. Happily, the Republicans are moving toward more of a concept of American-based, platform-based issues. There's a little identity politics still going on, but the Democrats are neck deep in it. It's all about what I can promise to which group of people. It's why you've got the President of the United States with African Americans for Barack Obama, because apparently the needs of Black Americans are totally different than the needs of Americans. And so we've got specific interests that involve, I guess, everything from voter fraud to any number of other things. And Barack Obama pitches those items under his African Americans for Barack Obama. You got women for Obama, things. So women's issues, what are women's issues? Well, presumably, the only thing women care about, okay, the only thing women care about, birth control and abortion. That's all we care about. Just birth control and abortion. And even more specifically, the only thing women care about is forcing the church to be destroyed so that women can have access to already cheap birth control for free. Psst, Democrats, we can already afford it. Or having abortion on demand at any point in the pregnancy. That's apparently the only thing that women care about with regard to birth control and abortion, and those are the only issues that women care about. Didn't you know? It's identity politics. It's why America's gone awry. If you keep promising special things to a group of people, what is the Obama administration promising to college students? To forgive their student loans. What is the Obama administration promising to the middle class? Cheap refis on their mortgages. If you keep promising things to people, you promise the unions card check. What you end up doing is balkanizing the United States, factionalizing, tribalizing the United States. And that's where we are. The Democrats tribalize people into blocks of voters. And certain blocks of voters, they've just decided don't matter. Certain tribes don't matter. Blue-collar white guys don't matter to Democrats. They don't care about you. You are not anybody they're going to try to go out and pitch for your vote. You don't matter. Other groups of people still do matter. And they think that by promising this array of this menu of giveaways, that will make people want to vote for them. Here's the deal. Happily, fewer and fewer people are responding to the giveaways. Fewer and fewer people recognize that we can continue on with a smorgasbord of giveaways. Barack Obama has given away everything he can possibly give in terms of extracting our taxpayer resources to help his green friends, the environmental voting bloc. What the environmental voting bloc was told, we'll protect the environment by extracting taxpayer resources to give my rich friends. So my rich friends can make gobs and gobs of money on your backs and pretend to protect the environment. But the green voting bloc, the environmental voting bloc, nods their head in unison and says that's okay. So that's still working for them. Most people, though, are saying, look, kind of tired of the voting bloc. What are you going to do for the United States? What's best for America? Having a debt ceiling increase isn't best for America. Having $16.1 trillion in immediate debt isn't what's best for America. Having $99 trillion, there isn't $99 trillion available. Because we are so far gone on the promises we've made to the voting bloc called senior citizens on Social Security and Medicare, that's starting to strike senior citizens as something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense anymore. We can't keep promising to give people other people's money. The Occupy people, there's a new voting bloc, the class warriors out there. But if you look at the polling, you see that it's not capturing people's imagination like it used to in a good economy. You can do this in a good economy because people don't see the disaster on the horizon. You see, we see the disaster. It's right in front of us. And now 59% of American voters say, we're not interested in the disaster. Who's next?